Welcome back, everybody. You're listening and watching Living the Dream podcast with Steve Buck, the host, and my co-host, Gabie. Episode number 4 is the spirit of excellence. Every successful person has a spirit of excellence. Excellence is something that is elevated above everything else. If you have a spirit of excellence, you would rather go and spend the same amount of money eating an excellent lunch instead of going to the fast food chains that just feed you poison. Okay. A spirit of excellence overflows into all the different areas of life. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can afford everything that you like, but it just means that you enjoy great things. Okay. Things that are elevated above everything else. The spirit of excellence is tied into the golden rule.
Okay.
And for those who don't know what the golden rule is, there's 2. The important one is that do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself.
Yes.
That's the golden rule. The other golden rule is that he who holds the gold makes the rules. Not as important as the first one, but nonetheless, that's a golden rule. A lot of people cannot envision themselves participating in excellent things. What kind of things in the excellence realm are part and parcel to your idea of an American dream for yourself?
Being able to accomplish things and do things that I was never shown, and then to be able to put that out to help others.
A lot of people that we're talking to in our audience, they've got to raise their idea, number one, of understanding excellency, okay, because they don't feel that they're entitled to excellent things because that's one of the lies they've been told their entire life.
Right.
Is that excellent things are not for me, which is not true, no matter who you are. When we talk about the word quality, what's the first thing that comes to mind to you?
It don't matter what it is. The purpose of quality to me and what it means to me is that I don't have to keep on re-getting the same thing.
Okay, but
because it's cheap. I don't have to keep recycling the cheapness like a person that go shopping at Family Dollar. You're going to have to go back next week. It's going to break. I tell you, the only thing you get from Family Dollar is paper, pencils, things that...
So what's an item of quality that, what type of item do you define that has a sense of quality to it?
Well, it's really not a item. I mean, like I said, it could be food. I like quality food. I like food with flavor. Food that got, it had something to it that made you want to say, I'll spend that amount of money for that. Okay, I don't care. I will spend that amount of money for that. It don't matter the price.
And also you got
Apple MacBook Pro, right?
You got an Apple MacBook Pro,
$1,200 unit here. I didn't want to get a PC because the quality and the level in which I'm used to doing things is of the people that's at the top of the game, which is Apple.
Well, right. And I've got just a cheap HP computer, which for me, is fine because I've never been an Apple guy,
right?
But I don't really need a quality.
Well, it's funny you say that. 'Cause I wasn't an Apple guy either, but my peers and the people that I do what I do said, "Hey, you want less viruses, you want less things to be happening. This, that, and this. Better to get that for what you do." Okay, and graphics, different things like that. I was told this is the way to go.
Well, yeah. I wish I actually started off in the Mac world because I was always IBM compatible. That's the first computers that I learned on in high school. And
right. IBM.
You get something. You get familiar with something, you want to keep on doing it. I got a Samsung phone just because when I got my iPhone, I wanted to throw it in the lake. My Samsung, to me, it's just more user friendly. But
app wise and everything.
Yeah, I still can't understand why when you're on a smartphone and you're talking, why they put the shut off button right where your cheek is. Right? Why can't they put it down?
Right.
It's like if there's anybody out there from Apple or from Samsung, put the shut off or turn off the phone conversation. Put it down the left hand corner away from your cheek. right? But no. So the things that we attribute, quality to, we're broadcasting on Sony
Right.
cameras. We've got pod mics here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, we know what quality is because it works. It works well.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully our sound quality is great because we've got great pod mics.
Right.
And, great switching equipment.
Mm-hmm.
As we embark on living the American dream, we have to raise our ideas and our standards
Right.
to what we consider excellent, to what we consider quality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I want to make sure that we teach these young men is the fact that if you want to go down to, Family Dollar or whatever and get a cheap detergent when you could buy Tide and use half as much and
Expect the itch.
right? So we want to raise and we want to give everybody, number one, a spirit of excellence. Number two, we want them to raise their idea of quality and what they deserve.
Right.
Not because they're anything special, but if it's available, God wants us to have excellent things. God wants
quality
us to have,
is it necessarily meaning that it's the most expensive?
No.
know?
No. Quality doesn't mean it's the most expensive. God wants us to enjoy excellent things. God wants us to enjoy quality. We got to drill down into the process, what it means to take those first steps to get a job, to get started for the inner city African American male. What does he have to do to set himself up, and what are the opportunities that exist? It's local. He can walk there. He can get that job, take that job, and be successful.
I mean, my own personal experience, like, that's part of, like you said, once you take the first step. So, for example, if you don't have a vehicle, then you got to know that step also includes you mapping out transportation. Now, if the job is willing to pay you enough to transport there and back, then that's good. That's a good job.
Yeah.
And then if it's not, then still you have to look at the pay rate of that job and then say, okay, can I live off of taking a third of this pay for transportation, and am I able to live and eat off of the rest or whatever is going towards? And you have to be able to realistically look at, like you said, if your surroundings is okay, like for example, a area I lived in, buses don't run on the weekends. Monday through Friday, I can go from here to here, but Saturday and Sunday, there's no transportation.
That kind of triggers a thought that I had is that you can ask employers. A lot of employers now have Uber accounts. They'll pay for part of the cost. They're going to ask you to pay for a part, so you got skin in the game. There's options like that that are available that maybe some people aren't aware of. A couple episodes earlier, I made the statement that there is millions of jobs available for people who want to show up on time, work super hard, have a good attitude, keep your head down, okay, mind your own business.
Right.
Millions of jobs, millions of opportunity.
A lot of times people are scared to ask also, like even with my military discounts and things of that nature. Like, it was so many stores I used to go spend money at. Never knew I could get a military discount. They say, yeah. So I'm like, what? I've been coming here for 5 years. Y'all probably owe me some money.
I know this just because I buy a lot of material from them, but Lowe's gives a 10% discount.
Home Depot, a whole lot of them. Like places I didn't even think that would give military discount. And by the way, it's the same discount that the cops get. Cops get 10%, just on GP. Well, and they get the same thing. You have to ask. They're not going to tell you. You know, you got to walk in the door and say, "Hey, sale discounts for you." They don't know.
Ask the question, right?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask. Hey, do you give a military discount?
Yeah, I started asking everybody after I found out. The person told me that. That's why I started asking. The person was like, "Don't be afraid to ask. You never know." I was like, "You know what? You're right."
Why?
I ask everybody now. They'd be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know that."
That's 10%. That's a blessing.
Yeah, when you spend a little bit of change, it helps.
The next item that we really want to cover is raising a purpose-driven life. We all have a purpose here on the earth. You know,
Right.
Nobody's here on accident.
Yeah, right.
Okay, whatever purpose that God has for you in your life, you need to find out what it is, because you'll be able to enjoy it much better. I want to talk about a little bit about having grit. What things did it take a lot of grit from your end to actually get through so that you were successful and you were able to make something happen, but you had to grind at it and grind at it and grind at it and have that, I am not going to quit grit to get it done.
DJing is it's a million DJs. Like you said, at the end of the day, you have to look and see what's going to separate you from the other million, to where somebody say, "Hey, I want to hire you." Especially if they sending for you to come from out of town and you got 500,000 DJs in that city right there. So why they not getting none of them? So that's saying a lot. Where a person say, "Well, I want to bring you here because I don't have nobody here that can do that." So it takes a lot of practice, mental discipline. Also, you have to, like you said, having in your mind, I'm better and I can do this in a better way or fashion than what I see. And if you don't have that, and if you don't have passion is a big piece that a lot of people miss. And seeing you mentioned purpose, see, I got 3 P's. 3 P's is a purpose, and it's a plan, and it's a passion. Because you got a purpose, then you can have a plan. And if you got a plan, then you got to have the passion to complete that purpose.
Right, and we're definitely going to be getting into the second P there, the planning. You don't try something, you do something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't go in saying, "Oh, well, if it works out." No, you do it and you work and you work and you work.
I had to break myself out of saying that. "Oh, I'm trying to do this." Oh, what do you mean trying? You're doing it or you're not.
Exactly.
What are you trying at? Not to do it?
If you're practicing saying stuff like that to yourself,
right?
Okay, that's self-defeating. I'm trying. That gives you an automatic out.
Right. Like,
okay.
What am I trying?
I've never told anybody that, we're gonna try to do this podcast.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I didn't hear that from you when I spoke to you initially.
Right.
And that's what was a decision-making thing. You didn't sound confused, and you didn't sound like, "I don't know if I want to do it. I'm trying to see." That would have turned me off.
No, I'm not trying. We're going to do a podcast.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It just means that we're going to do a podcast.
Right. You got to start.
You gotta just do it. You gotta have that starting point.
If I speak to a person and they say that, "What are you trying to do?" I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm about to do what I'm telling you. Like, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm talking to you because I'm about to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Do not give yourself an out by saying that we're trying to. No, we're doing it.
Right.
What does success mean to you?
Getting to a point where you know what your purpose is, your plan is, and you have passion behind it, and to be able to accomplish it without being deterred and become successful at it, meaning that you can go out and teach it. You can go out and show it, and you have this gym. Like you said, I have this gym, and I'm successful at doing this. Like I was explaining to you, I've learned how to go to any big city and put a dent in it by doing certain things. Like soon as I get there, I don't have to have a crowd of people. I don't have to have a lot of money. I don't have to even travel around, especially with internet right now. I don't have to. I can just do subtle things, and it'll draw the people to you because you're saying things and putting it in a way that the average person is not doing. So like when they look at it, like, hey, nobody ever said that. Hey, let me see what this person talking about. You know what I'm saying? And so they get into the attractive state of mind because I want to see what this person's mind is about, what they thinking about. 'Cause nobody said that to me before. So where are they coming from? What do they know that I don't know that they said that because they know it would get my attention?
Our audience, okay, we want our audience to be able to define what success means to them. I'm going to describe to our listeners what success means to Steve Buck. Number one, when I die and I go to see the Lord, I want him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Another component of success is, do I have a loving family that I can enjoy? My kids, my grandkids, my wife.
Right.
Number three is that, am I proud of how my children conduct themselves in life? If you don't have a definition, if you don't know what success looks like, feels like, thinks like, then it's unattainable. We've got to raise up, and we have to be able to define for ourselves, what is my definition of success? How do you define? What's it look like?
Right. Because a lot of people are looking at others to see what it is.
And I want our audience to look at your life and to look at my life and see an improvement in success for you and for me. Our lives become a testimony and a witness to what we're saying on this podcast. The final thing I wanted to touch on today for our audience is, this only applies to the part of our audience that wants God to turbocharge their walk towards the American dream. Because again, we've said that you can do this without God. Okay. It's a longer journey, but you can get there just fine. Okay. But the whole reason that our email address is dream1776@gmail.com with 3 M's is that we had some very, very super smart founding fathers of our country who studied tyranny over the centuries prior to 1776. They founded this country on Judeo-Christian values. Okay. They sought God's wisdom. Okay. That's the only reason that this is such a great country, is because they got God's wisdom on creating the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Okay. It's because of God that our country's great. And our founding fathers being smart enough to sit there and argue back and forth for hours and hours and hours, okay, as they were developing the federal papers, when they agreed that they came up with the best form of government, a constitutional republic, okay, they fought over this stuff for hours. Good people, great people on both sides. Great God-fearing men on that side and on this side, okay? They fought back and forth, okay, because they wanted to try to turn over every leaf of how could some tyrant come along and pervert our way of government so that they could engage their tyranny over the people. You've got to be mindful of God and the things of God if you want his participation, just like our founding fathers did. Thank God. Okay? Thank God. That same supernatural power that created this nation is the same supernatural power that can help you live the American dream that was created by our forefathers. Okay? Don't tread on me. Get out of my way. Okay? I can do this, and nobody's going to tell me that I can't.
Right.
That's the American spirit. Okay. And that's the spirit that we want our audience to grab a hold of, take it in, hold on to it, make it yours.
Right.
Because that, I submit, is what's going to make the difference. Whether you arrive at success or not. God was, he was the foundation of our great nation that even created what we call the American dream. And you can't have that without,
right.
You can't have that opportunity without what God created. But when he created it, he said, you can still live it, even if you don't want me part of it. You can still live the American dream. There were no qualifications to live the American dream. You don't have to be a believer. You don't have to believe in God. And you can still enjoy the blessing of God of this great constitutional republic that was founded almost 250 years ago, 247 years ago. Your quest for living the American dream can be turbocharged by God or not. Leave it at that point. It's a point that I have to throw.
It was the point in which he gave you the choice.
That's right. You're right.
Gave you the choice.
Yep. God is pro-choice. He gives us free choice on everything. So that wraps up today. Our email address, dream1776@gmail.com.
Dream with 3 M's.
3 M's. So contact us today, and thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.